Dante West says, can you ask Chanel what people outside of Louisville can do to fire the police responsible for the killing of Breonna Taylor? And is there a difference between abolishing and defunding the police?
Hey, I love that. Come on, Shantae. Yes. So one, people from outside of Louisville can bombard the mayor, LMPD, the chief, all of them. Daniel Cameron, who is the first Black AG of Kentucky, Attorney General, but also a McConnell boy. So making sure, I mean, Beyonce just sent him a letter. Copy that letter, put your signature on there, you know, because the queen herself, the king herself wrote that letter. It's official. But yeah, send that to all of them and then join us in the streets when we get there. I mean, it boils up inside of me that we already are seeing the prosecution of the police officers in Atlanta against Books because like they do that, right? And we're sitting here watching a coward of a mayor, Greg Fisher, quaver and quake underneath what, the FOP, other police officers. It's about time that ends. Like how much longer do Black lives in Louisville have to be underneath this type of terror regime of LMPD? And we just saw that this morning. We just saw like the way that they just broke line and just beat and just fought with protesters who are angry, who have been through this themselves, who got pepperballed in a SWAT attack or whatever. So those are the things that we're asking people to do. Yes, call, harass, because this is harassment to us. The other thing is, I love that Melina brought that up too. Because it's a white people's call to action. We were just having a little bit like, don't you get tired of white people asking you what you can do? Yes. Somebody asked at the protest site, you need us to show up every day. Get up off of your job. If you wouldn't go to work for them, you have to remember you work for corporations. These are the people who are funding the police. If you wouldn't go to work for them, then they wouldn't do the things that they're doing. And every day you wake up and go to work so you can pay them. You're not paying your bills, you are paying them. And so you are paying for this type of lifestyle on Black lives. A general strike is needed. Don't everybody stop going to work. That would be so great. And a general strike is when everybody doesn't go to work because we want to say we can build a new world. So how long is that going to take? Because this has been going on for like, what, a month now, from Ahmaud to George to Breonna. And there's countless others that people are fighting for in their own cities day in and day out against the system. So when we say abolish the police, we mean that we have the power to keep us safe. We have the power to make sure we can fight for resources and build those resources in our communities. And we have the power to vision out what not only safety looks like, but community defense looks like from people who don't want to see Black joy, Black desires, and Black achievement. When we're saying defund the police, we mean a temporary fix of actually taking that money away from those police and safety budgets. In Louisville, that's $186 million. That can definitely go to like the food apartheid that was built in West End Louisville, where they taken away grocery stores, the housing crisis where we have abandoned houses everywhere, but high eviction rates. So, and an environmental crisis because of entire factories and sitting behind our school building. So I'm glad she asked that question. I got a little amped up right there, but yeah, like Mayor Fisher is responsible for a lot.
I love it. Dawn, I want to bring you in on this. I want to know, what does the term Black Lives Matter mean to you? Because let me tell you something. Isn't it beautiful? The taste it would leave in some white people's mouth just a couple years ago. It was almost like saying a dirty word. Because some of my white friends, oh, those BLM people. I'm like, hold up. It's not a bad organization, right? Now to see the change in how it's received, it's almost funny. It's almost funny. So I want to know, what does Black Lives Matter mean to you? Because, you know, folks did have it twisted at first.
Yeah. I mean, our lives have always mattered. We know that. I think there's this constant reawakening. For some people, it might have been watching an officer roll up on Tamir Rice. For some folks, it might have been Breonna. It might have been, you know, Michael Brown's body laying out, right? It might have been for us here, Faraz Marad, who is a brilliant debater, who was, his spirit still is, moving people, who was a student here at Cal State University, Long Beach, who was hanging out with some friends here, smoked some weed. I think he took some shrooms or something, had a bad trip. He threw himself out of a window. He was bleeding. fire department showed up and was coaxing him down and was like, it's okay, you just have a seat, sit down, lay down. Moment later, an officer, Long Beach PD patrolman, shows up as the 3 firemen are laying him down, convincing him it's going to be okay. We got you. Relax. It's okay. As Faraz began to lay down, he started to pop back up, and the cop shot him, killed him. So his family, his sister recently spoke, got him a ride. To the points around care, not cops, right? Police have taken it upon themselves to take up other people's work and responsibilities, the work that other agencies and professionals hold around education, employment, housing, social work, and mental health, and have figured out ways to reinvent themselves and make themselves as relevant as possible and integrate themselves into all these other areas of life that there are other experts who are trained to tend to, right? So, but to your point around other people starting to see that, like when Frederick Taft was murdered by the white supremacists, it took for folks around this area of Lakewood Village. This area exists within one of our council members' districts, Stacey Mungo, who this older man, I think he was about 60. I always get his age wrong. Sorry, Corey. And said, well, maybe he was a gang member, right? A white supremacist walks into the bathroom, shoots him while he's at the urinal. His sister sees the man walking away, and it took for over 75 people in that neighborhood who are predominantly white. They're white supremacists. We had to do our own community investigation because police refused to investigate. And we found that in that neighborhood, it's saturated with members of white supremacist organizations. And we've identified the list and the insignia of all those organizations. And it's saturated with police officers. And it took white community to come out to push up against the non-response for that family.